go and do the test. Harry, why can animals eat food that are laying in the dirt or is very unhygienic in other ways, and we humans are delicate and vulnerable? pH isn't the difference, only not you. They're not used to. Look, we used to basically be scavengers as well. We could actually, and if you go back, many people used to consume raw meat, raw dairy, a lot of raw things, and all that. The reason for it is basically that we had a very well regulated immune system and very well regulated gut microbiome. Remember what I said a while back? We lost about 90 up to 90% of the population in the US is believed to be missing key lactobacillus type strains of bacteria and key sort of bifidobacteria type strains like Ephantis and a few others. And I think that that's these, and also the lack of taurine to have actually good stomach digestion. And I think if you've been on a very, very high kibble diet for an extremely long time, your stomach isn't operating properly. And it can take possibly up to 7 years to restore proper stomach function. That's with taurine supplementation together with meat, because you've got turnover of cells and you've also got a lot of tissue that needs to be healed, repaired, that possibly from SIBO, from H. pylori, many other things has been damaged, so it doesn't work properly. And these are problems that can take longer to heal and fix themselves so the body works properly in that regard. So, and also some of these beneficial bacteria, like the stuff that when you come out of your mother's birth canal, you pick up on these, you get these. Well, you're supposed to, you used to. Now, with glyphosate that actually mimics antibiotics and excessive antibiotic use, what we've done is we've killed off a lot of these bacteria in a lot of the people that lived in developed countries that have overly abused these antibiotic compounds, both the ones that mimic, which are the glyphosate, the Roundup, that sort of stuff, and basically, your regular antibiotics. So that's, and you remember when you're taking, because Monsanto's or Bayer now own the patent, and there is a patent in all the offices around the world that glyphosate and Roundup has got an antibiotic effect. So this is not me saying it, it's them saying it. Now, where a lot of people are consuming for multiple decades, a lot of foods, GMO foods and other foods that are using Roundup and glyphosate. Now, it's like taking antibiotics every day each time you have a meal. So we've caused massive derangement and changed the speciations or the gut microbiome in large amounts. And that is why we're more vulnerable to these sort of compounds. They've actually even seen it in some of the animals in zoos where they've used antibiotics on them. They are more prone after they've used antibiotics to certain pathogens. That means they've lost some sort of protection which they originally had. And then they continue giving them antibiotics until they slaughter them. So obviously we've wrecked a number of things and made ourselves more susceptible. You take a look at basically the ability of the more robust immune system due to vitamin D and the diet and the ancestral living of Maasai. And then the kids go off to school. And with glyphosate products, antibiotic mimicking products, the grains and all that they're getting imported, that they're using, that they're providing food to the kids, plus there's seed oils, they're stuffing their digestive tract. as a consequence, when they go back to the tribal areas, they're more susceptible. As Mary, when she talked to the parents, was saying that the kids that are coming back from school are more susceptible. Poor vitamin D status, being indoors and having darker skin, much easier to get a vitamin D deficiency. And vitamin D is very important even for the beneficial bacteria. Remember my protocol of 3 months plus vitamin D in order to restore those beneficial bacteria. You know, the protocol that I talk about, the 50 milligram of all the different B vitamins. So that tells you quite clearly the reason why we're sort of delicate in a sense, one way, or vulnerable, Stefan, as you would say. So yeah, we've got a lot of work to restore. And one great thing about taurine, what it does is it actually promotes the beneficial bacteria. Obviously, it's not alone. It does require all the other stuff to work together. The ancestral foods, the sun, the vitamin D, all these things. The B vitamins are very high in animal foods. You still need all the nutrition and all that together in their combination to basically get things to work properly. And sometimes for some of us, it can take longer than others. In the past, I would have been very susceptible to infections. I'm not anymore. You know, so I consider myself bulletproof. And, you know, things drop on the ground. I've picked them up and eaten them. I wouldn't have done that in the past. I would have been too scared, too terrified. You know, we have a 3-second rule, which really is bullshit, because the moment it falls down, if there's any bacteria there, it's going to stick. You know, so yeah. So I would say there is a lot of truth in living ancestrally and living in our modern world that does a lot of derangements and a lot of damage to our bodies.